There we are. All right. Now we are live. Welcome, Elsie, Lauren, to the Love Pod. How are you today?
So great. How are you?
So amazing. We are so happy to have you here, our first two-time guest.
Woo! It
Welcome
is
to the
truly an
club.
honor. Thank you so much.
We are here by fan request. You are our most requested interview.
Are you just like talking to my mom or?
Yes, actually, she made 16 Reddit accounts.
Yeah, that seems like something she would do. For
Okay.
sure.
So hi, Mom.
I don't even think she knows what it is.
Most people don't, but it is like a very big Love is Blind fan base. That is where we get most of our fan questions from, a lot of feedback from the show.
Oh,
So
I'm definitely a lurker. Now I'm a verified person because that's how I found out about all the Mark stuff that did happen. I found out about it. Shout out to the thread. So yeah, no, I definitely now when I post on there, if I do, it's like it says my name and then it says verified contestant. But then
look at you.
Well, it doesn't say like LC. So people are like, wait, it's like something about like my cat. It's like blue something. I don't know. And so people were like, wait, verified contestant. Who is this?
It's the cat. You didn't see the cat in the pods?
If you don't know, then you don't know. You don't need to know.
You don't need to know.
You're not a fan, which means you're probably an enemy and you don't need to know.
Oh, it doesn't seem like you have too many enemies. Like we've had some interviews where there are some really contentious questions and yours was not one of them. So
no, I don't think I've ever been on a show long enough to be an enemy in the first place.
You hit that sweet spot of
3 episodes and that's my max.
And you're good.
Yeah. I'll barely be in 3 episodes and then I'm done.
But memorable. A lot of people are in 3 episodes and you don't remember them. It's like, who? I mean, there was we love Chris Fox. We had him on last week and a lot of people were like, who is that? And he had a pretty long storyline with Johnny and with like the whole
Love the last season. Wasn't it more than I was? He made it out of the pods.
He did. He made it out of the pods.
Like not really, but yes.
He did. Yeah,
they like on our season. They were like, we are having the pods, and then after that, if you're not still filming, like you can't even talk to the cast. Like
that's what I was wondering. Like, what's to stop you guys from just dating?
Which honestly, like I'm so glad that they did not want to film us after with the pods.
Oh, okay.
It was a shit show.
But if you left and they weren't filming you anymore, you couldn't talk to each other? Like how?
So I remember we had like a group. So we had like a group me with everybody in it, the pod squad, you know, what we called it. That now everyone calls it that.
Yeah, we have a Love Pod squad, so sorry.
Perfect. Yes. I love Pod Squad. But yeah, no, so we had like their Pod Squad group me chat with everybody, like all 30 people in the cast. And then the girls had a text chat and the guys had a text chat, I know. And
everybody's talking trash about everybody else.
Like basically. So the girls, I do remember I was gonna say I'm not gonna say names, but I'll just say names because
do it. You can whatever you're comfortable with. We are here for
Love Pod.
It is. We love.
You know what? They've said so many bad things about me that I don't really at this point. But Amber and Barnett. Mm-hmm. So I was good friends with Amber.
Okay.
And then, until Mark, apparently, I don't know. But even though that's a whole different thing. But yeah, so Amber, I remember her specifically when they were filming and they were like in Atlanta. So they were back from Mexico or whatever. And I remember her like getting to, I guess they were at Barnett's house at the time that he had. And there was like a stuffed animal from an ex-girlfriend or something there. And she like, or like a picture or whatever. And she just like was in the group chat, like, what the fuck is this? Can you like sending us pictures? And like, was like, I can't fucking believe, like, just so pissed. And I mean, I'd be a little annoyed too, but like also, this all just happened in like 2 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know how production found out about that. I guess we were like talking her down kind of and like calming her down. And maybe they like didn't like that.
They don't want that. They don't want that at all.
So that I remember that. And pretty much that same week, we got an email being like, I remember the cast who was filming got like scared to talk to us. They like told us, they're like, hey guys, production just gone on to us. Like we have to leave the group chats. And so they did, and they came back after they were filming. But yeah, I just remember them being so scared now to talk to us, to people who weren't filming anymore. But the people who weren't filming anymore, we were like trauma bonded together for like a solid 2 or 3 weeks. That's like all I hung out with was them. And because we all lived in Atlanta, and we all
and you can't talk about it.
And it never had aired. The show hadn't come out, and no one knew what it was. And so, I could tell. I mean, I didn't, but I could tell people all day, like, I just filmed a show called Love is Blind. And they'd be like, okay.
What?
I don't know what that is. They're like, it's going to be on Netflix. And they're like, there's no reality shows on Netflix. Okay. Okay. That one, no one's going to watch, but okay.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what the amount that we could talk about it. Like, it didn't matter. No one knew. Now it does, but like it, I would advise cast members to not say anything about it now, but like, because you don't want to ruin it. But
there's always like little bits and pieces that get out there. But I would say, like, compared to The Bachelor, Love is Blind is really good about not getting spoilers out there. Maybe because there hasn't been as many seasons, or like nobody has an insight in production. But I could not find out. I found out like 2 cast members ahead of time. And then when that cast announcement came out the other day for season 6, I was on it. But I'm like, how can I get on the press list, guys? Like, come on.
No, that's fair. I mean, honestly, I really do feel like sometimes I see, I only really know from like seasons like 1 through 4 is kind of more, maybe 1 through 3 really is like what I've heard the most about.
Okay.
And I met people from season 3 before it had aired. So that's really the only season like I kind of knew people.
Sure.
But yeah, I just feel like from what I've heard, it's like people seem to be really like before the show comes out, like I think they're just like really excited, I guess, that they're on Love is Blind, which is cool, but also like I feel like if I were to go on the show now, if it was like, the 10th season or whatever, I would not say a fucking word. I would tell like my closest friends and family, like my parents and like my best friends, but I had roommates at the time, so like they had to sign NDAs. I think production thought I was going to get engaged because before we even started filming, and I thought everyone had to do this, but they didn't. Some people did, some people didn't. I had to sign. I had to have my apartment complex sign a thing.
Okay.
So film there on this certain day, and then I had to have my roommates. I had to take pictures of my entire apartment. And which is the only reason I hadn't even decorated my room at all yet. I'd lived there for like 2 years, nothing on the walls. And so I was like, let me go to TJ Maxx and Home Goods real quick. And
you and Izzy had very similar decor style.
Yeah, I was like, this looks like a boy lives here. So let me just put some flower paintings on the wall. But yeah, so I remember how to do that and like, sign. Like, I think my roommates might have had to sign something too to like say they were okay being filmed if that happened on this certain day. And I just thought everyone had to do that, and they didn't. And so I was like, "Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to let you down by not."
And you don't know until it airs, right? Like you guys don't get to see it ahead of time.
No,
I don't know if it's changed.
No, but I knew at the time because like after we were done filming the pods, we were all met in real life in Atlanta because we all live in Atlanta, like not far from each other. And so we would all go out all the time. And so we all were talking, of course, like, what was your experience? What happened with you here? What happened with you here? And I remember mentioning to a few people, like, because after I mentioned it to one and then they didn't know what I was talking about, I was like, did not everyone have to do this? Because I was like, oh no, they must have thought I was going to get engaged.
I think so too. Or, I mean, so when they did the promos, obviously they already knew how the show was going to air. And they've done this a couple of times where in the promos, it'll feature like 1 or 2 people. And you're like, all right, those are the people. They didn't do that with Lauren and Cameron. They did that with like you. I forget who the other person. Wesley had like a feature, which is really like, I thought he was going to be a main cast member.
You think that they're going to put the main people in there, but I think they try to steer away from that. They try to show of everybody. Because from what I understand is like, there was for season 1, at least their episode 1 that Kinetic put together was everyone involved. Like everyone was shown and everyone's stories were kind of like told a little bit, at least like the beginnings of them. And then Netflix was like, no, we need to like narrow it down, like really ultimately, which makes sense. It sucks for the people who were like filming it and didn't get to like see that. But yeah, I get why Netflix wanted to come in and be like, okay, here's how like you edit to the end, like for the ending, kind of almost, where it's like you edit backwards, where it's like the only stories people are really ultimately going to care about are the ending, and there's only so much time, and there's 5 couples. So like we want to make sure that the people who actually made it to the altar, and especially the people who got married, that their stories are told. And so once I kind of heard about that, I was like, well, I do know I was in the pods, a pretty big part of like Barnett and Amber storyline. I didn't even, me and Amber didn't really know much about Jessica. When I watched that, I was like, wait, what?
Try not to spit out my drink.
Like I love Jessica, but I knew at the time, like she was like real quiet about it, I think. So I just didn't really know.
Sneaky, a little on the sly, like creeping in there.
I wouldn't even say sneaky. It's just kind of like, I don't know.
But like, from what we see, at least what my impression.
From what it was shown, I can see why people would think that. But from my experience being there, it was less like sneaky. And it was just like, she just kind of seemed like she was just a quieter person. And like, I don't know. I was kind of quieter in there too, which I'm not normally, but I found in reality TV situations, I get a little quiet and more like observant.
Sure.
Such big personalities. And also like, you know, you are aware you're being filmed. After a certain point, you stop in the pods, especially, you don't really see the cameras at all unless you're in certain rooms. But like, so you do kind of forget about it in there. But like in the common areas, like it's pretty like you're on a soundstage, like you're being filmed.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting to me to watch people where I think I just sent you this picture on Instagram where I was like, had the cup, I was showing you the cup.
Yes.
Yeah. The iridescent cup, not the gold cup. I was like, guys, the iridescent, the purpley ones that was the cup. Okay. The gold cups, I didn't even care about.
Well, you have some in your mailbox, or they should be in your mailbox as of last night.
Oh my God. I have some they say Love is Blind on them. So they're not like the real ones.
These aren't the ones. They're like shiny gold. We couldn't get Netflix has a lock on the matte ones. I don't know what's going on. But
no, I don't even think they do, because the ones I have from Netflix that say Love is Blind are shiny. They're not matte.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You cannot get those matte. I can get them in tumblers. I can't get like I always throw this isn't wine. I'm not drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. I mean, no judgment if somebody would.
Honestly, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's 2024. Like, it's an election.
Oh God, I haven't even had to write the date yet to like acknowledge that. And can I tell you, I'm turning 40 in less. Actually, we have back-to-back birthdays, right? So yours is on the 17th, and
when's yours? 16th or 18th?
18th, yeah. So last
we're the closers. We're the closers. We
are. Us babies. And I'm turning 40, and I like within the last week or so have had that like of anxiety. And I am not like, age is just a number. I don't even know how I got off.
But also like it's like changing the day. It's like when I'm imagining like going from 1999 to 2000 was like a big deal, because it's like, oh, it's like an entire different number I have to write now. So that's kind of how I feel about going from like 19 to 20 or 20 to 29 to 30. I feel like 28, 29 were like the end of the decades to me are like the worst ones. Like, I'm like, really? Get me out of his hellhole. Like, I couldn't wait to be 30. When I tell you, like, I always thought when I was like, 22, 24, 25, I was like, God, 30 is so old. Ugh. But the closer you get and the older the people, I have like older friends too. So like, especially if you're a person who has friends who are older than you, or like, within 10 years older than you kind of realize that like, oh, like no one has any clue what they're doing. And
everyone, when you look back at your parents, and how like
this is not the Golden Girls era. Like the fact that the Golden Girls when they started filming were like in their early 40s, I was like, no, they weren't.
No. With the gray hair. I mean, I got a couple, but like, come on, it's just.
I've had gray hair since I was like 14. It's hereditary. Okay. Now my hair just like grows in gray. Because my grandma had a full head of white by 30. So did my dad. That's who I take out of the family like, heavily. But it's rocket. It's the curse that I'm okay with, because I have like nice, like thick, dark hair. Whereas the other side of my family has like thin blondish hair, and I would rather just have this hair.
Yeah, you have beautiful hair, and I'm trying to embrace the gray. But yeah, 40's been a
You
big
don't
one.
feel the pressure to do that, okay? Because like it's not for. I'm like people are like, oh, just like let it grow out. I'm like, no, I don't need to. I don't want to.
I'm a
Probably
low maintenance person, so like to have to go to the salon every 6 or 8 weeks or
like,
like
it
sit there with the
definitely
box.
it seems less low. It seems like less maintenance to me to just comb
Really?
my hair because if I have to wait for it to grow, I mean, you might be able to see. I use like this like spray to like my root spray when I'm in
I do
between.
that too, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. You can probably see some. I don't even know a little bit here. Let me
You're
just.
live with Elsie's roots.
You want to check me for lice while we're here?
Yeah, could I? Let me just
Yeah. But yeah, I think that it's I feel like the process would look horrible for years for me. I would just have to dye
like
it.
have to grow out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, I have to just dye it gray, which involves probably bleaching it, and I don't for it to like not look weird. And it's not for me. It looks cool on some other people, but I don't think I can pull it off.
I had a friend who intentionally, like, she wasn't going gray, early 20s, and she did the gray that was popular for a while, and it looks beautiful on her.
I just don't think I'm like a silvery grayish platinum person.
Yeah.
I think I'm just too pale for that.
I'm just a low maintenance person. Like, I'm like, I don't want to sit in the salon. I don't get my nails done except for like if we go on vacation. I'm just one of those people. But anyway, I want to just take a brief pause to let anybody watching live know you can submit questions if you're watching us on StreamYard. And then our producer, Jordan, is backstage checking Instagram, Facebook, all the social feeds. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them and we will ask them as long as they are kind and lead with love. We are not, you know what? Like nobody really has anything negative to say about you.
Listen, if you have something
world.
like unkind to say, I welcome it as well because
Okay.
I like to hear all sides. I'm an Aquarius.
Yeah. All right. You know what? I get it. I totally get it. And you're big into astrology too, right?
Yeah, and also like I did theater most of my life. Like you can't, and also like I am like a pretty like depression, anxiety runs, and I have ADHD. Like you can't say anything worse to me than I haven't already said to myself. And
I think that's true of most people. Everybody's really hard on themselves unless you have
you'd be
sociopathic.
surprised. There's some people who read about themselves, and I also get I also do get the perspective of these people only know me from a edited version of that they saw, and I've seen it too. So like I like to when I watch shows, I will take the actual experience out of it. I mean, of course, like I know what it was, so it is frustrating sometimes, but like for the most part, like I'm like, yeah, I get why you would think that.
Do you think from having watched your season and other seasons of people that you've met, the cast from your season, people are pretty accurately portrayed, or is there a big dimension that's being left out?
I do think that overall people are pretty accurately portrayed. I think like it's hard because we are, first of all, for me personally, it takes me a second to like slip in to being comfortable in the situation.
Sure, of course.
And so like Perfect Match, for example, me jumping in at the end, I was just like deeply uncomfortable the entire time. Like I was just like, I feel so weird. Like I was trying to get out of it when I knew I was like going to be one of the last ones. I literally was talking to my producers and being like, and production to the point where they like were profusely apologizing to me and like sent me a facial and a massage, like because to apologize, like because for making me wait for so long. Cause I was like, there's no way that this is going to be what it was going to be in my brain for the experience. So like, can I just like go? Do I even have to do this? Like, can I just leave?
I was really surprised you weren't an initial person in the house. I don't know a lot of the other reality shows that people came from. I know Too Hot to Handle were in on the Netflix shows, but like
in my brain, like I think Netflix put the people that they think are the most popular, like the most followers and stuff like in there first, which makes sense. But in my brain as a producer, I would have put someone like me in first because anyone really on Love is Blind first in the first round of people, like me, Diamond, Damien. Like I think the only one who was in there, one of the first people was I don't even think Shane was in there at first. I don't remember.
Yes, I think he was.
Was he one?
I think he was.
And Bartiz, I know, wasn't in there until later.
He wasn't in the beginning.
So I think Shane might have been the only one. And I'm like, I would be putting the Love is Blind people in, to be fair, especially me and Diamond, because we've already proven we can develop feelings for someone in a short amount of time. And I'm not going to walk in there at the end and ruin anyone's relationship. I'm just not. they kept being like, "You're gonna be a bombshell," and I'm like, "I've seen Love Is Blind, or not Love Is Blind. I've seen that. I've seen Too Hot to Handle and Love Island, and like, I'm
You're not that
not a
personality.
bombshell. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh, you are a bombshell, but you are
That's-
not the
no,
steal your man
I'm
kind
not.
of.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a girl who's gonna walk in and be like, in a slow motion walk and be like, I don't care. I'm not here to make friends. Like, I am there to make friends. Okay, I want to make friends, and I'm also like, I'm not gonna go in and be like, I don't care who's with who. I'm gonna break you up. It doesn't matter. Watch out, ladies. I'm coming
Which
for you. I'm not doing any of that.
Right. And why not bring Francesca in later, who is
She's
all about that?
like, no one's gonna leave Francesca for me. Not to say that I'm ugly. I'm not even trying to shit on myself like that. I'm a different kind of person. Like, no one's gonna leave like Georgia or Francesca or Izzy or like any of those girls for me being like,
No,
"Oh my
I
God."
think if people were there for genuine connections, I absolutely think so. That show, honestly, you know what, we'll cover it when it comes back. If it ever, I don't know what the delay is with releasing season
I don't know.
2, but it was so hard to finish. Like, it was so obvious that the engagement
Filming
was
it was hard to finish.
yeah, you didn't even want to be on there in the first
No,
place.
I don't think anyone should come in, any new person. They should just filter in people who were already there. I don't think any one person should come in when I came in, because it literally is pointless. Like, there's, even if you do find a connection, like, I think I could have connected with Nick, but I can't in like an hour, you know?
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not like deep connections like Love Is Blind, where you are talking like really fast and getting deep, and like,
Yeah,
it's just not the same environment. And I get it was kind of like
it was weird.
a Love
Weird.
Island. If they never released another season, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
wouldn't be butthurt.
society would be crying about it, but I do think that there is something that should be done that is involved, like, you know, the Netflix reality show universe. I think that is a cool concept, but I don't think,
Yeah.
I think it can just be like a fun game thing. I don't think we have to like date, you know?
Well, they had that one.
Or just like throw us all in a house and see what happens. Like, truly.
So have you seen House of Villains?
Yes.
Okay,
My
that
favorite. I think one of my favorite reality shows I've ever seen.
yes. So Love Is Blind. I have not been excited about another show since Love Is Blind, like Love Is Blind aired, as I have about House of Villains. And we always say if they would have just kept them all in the house, whether they got like voted down or not, and they just kept them there in real world style. Oh, please.
Yes. Just to like fuck with people and commentate on things. Like, yes. 100%.
And like being able
Or
to
be part of the voting like Survivor does.
Yeah, and
With
have
the jury.
fan interactions. Oh my God, there's so
They should
much
do that.
potential.
Yeah, they should do the jury.
Call us. Like,
Yeah,
LC and I'll produce a show, guys. We'll get in there. And I think now that there's been like several other seasons of Love Is Blind that have been filmed, at least, maybe not aired, but filmed, I feel like they would have to disguise everybody's voices somehow. But if they really wanted to like give everybody a second chance, they could do that. Maybe season 10 would be like a big.
I do think that if they're going to do a Love Is Blind one, like specific to Love Is Blind, they do like with, I think I haven't seen these shows, but I've heard about them. But like, I know I've seen Married at First Sight, obviously, but I know they have a spinoff of Married at First Sight, I think called the like Undateables or something, which I think is such a rude name, but whatever.
Single Life too. They have other cast members.
Yeah, where they like use, I don't know if they use people they just did that they were gonna cast but then didn't cast, or that they were gonna that made it to the altar and they got married but then they didn't stay together. I don't know what they did with that. But I do think that there is enough people who are not married or who are single from Love Is Blind that I think it could be fun to just do like, you know, maybe like a limited series, like every kind of like a perfect match type of thing, but like just have us all in one house and like playing games, or like, oh, what is that one that Giannina and Blake did?
Oh yeah. Well,
like
they did a workout one with Rachel from The Challenge, and then they did, was it All Star Shore?
Yeah. All Star Shore. I thought that was an entertaining one too. Like,
I wish
I
they
don't
would
even
have
watch.
followed them after. Like, I know it wasn't intended to be a dating show, but that would have been incredible because their love
Right.
story is just
I know, they're so
beautiful. You know,
cute.
there's oh my God, I
Well, that's
love
what I'm
them.
saying, like, people were still, like, into each even in House of Villains, like, there was
Yeah.
little things going on or, like, Survivor, like, you don't have to have a dating show for people to date, like, people will naturally do dumb things and, like, gravitate towards each other without, like, you making it happen, you know? Like, I think just having games and competition is, like, also interesting enough to watch, and then it won't exclude people also who did get married, but I think it'd be cool to have, like, even a married spinoff where, like, maybe they take them on, like, a cool vacation for, like, a week, and then they just see what happens with the couples, which, I mean, I think, like, with the couples, it'd probably just be like, "We're all happy and we're fine."
I
But
think,
or, like, do that with the single people, like
yeah, I could see that. The only thing I could think of is like, so there's buckets of reality fans. There's like the ones who like the really hardcore physical competitions, like the challenge and alone. Then there's ones
yeah.
who like competitions like Big Brother. Then you have like the hardcore dating, 90 Day Fiance, Love is Blind, like
Yeah.
those universes.
People are
And
trying to combine everything in Perfect Match, and I'm like, "Just pick one."
yeah, that's where I think there are shows where they have combined. Obviously, like House of Villains was really well done,
Mhm.
but it's got to be the right cast. I think it was just too many forced dynamics with Perfect Match. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah,
like
I
you
wonder
said,
it just seemed like it was, like, Francesca focused. Like, I don't think
yeah,
anyone like, you weren't really seeing a and I have nothing against Francesca, I don't really know her, like, at all.
yeah, yeah.
But, from what I have experienced with her, we did actually talk on that show, and I thought she was cool. But, like, um, I just am like, I think if you're not, like, her friend or you don't have drama with her, you really weren't shown on Perfect Match. So, I was
I
like
thought that was a setup for like her own dating show, honestly.
yeah.
And maybe it will
No,
be.
no, I mean,
Do
she's
you
engaged now.
remember? Oh, she is? All All right, good for
Yeah,
her. You know, I think I vaguely remember seeing that.
yeah.
I really revolve in like the Love is Blind House of Villains world. Um,
Oh, I was texting Shake the whole time I was watching that. I was like, "I cannot." Were you shitting your pants talking to Omarosa? Because I would be.
I am so we've asked, I think, everybody from that show to be on our show except Omarosa. And it's not because I don't want
Seriously.
her on, it's because I am so intimidated and I am not.
I would. I
Oh,
could
I
not do
love
it.
her, but
I would
I
cry.
fear her, which
No.
is I think what she wants out
Yeah.
of her character. And that's the thing. Like you have a very specific like slot that you fit in for reality TV, right? You're like
Yeah.
your kind of girl next door, like genuine. There are whether this is how Omarosa is backstage or not, or this is how Francesca is backstage or not. Like Francesca is the bombshell that's going to steal your man. Omarosa is like queen villain, you know, like everybody's got their
Yeah.
roles. Would you do another reality show?
I mean, it depends on what it is, but yeah, I mean, I would like to do one that's not in the first season, so I know what I'm getting myself
Okay.
into.
That's fair enough. Would you do another dating one, like a serious dating one, not a perfect match kind of? Like, would you go married on first at first sight?
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay.
No, God, no. That show makes me wanna vomit. I like, in a way that I like it. I've watched seasons of it, and I don't mean vomit and like, "Oh, I hate it, it's disgusting." I mean vomit in the way of, like, anxiety. Like, I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
vomit because I am so deeply nervous for these people, and then I'm like, if I'm nervous for these people that I don't even know,
Oh yeah.
um, I don't even wanna know. I think I would pass out. Like, I
At
don't
the
think I'd be
altar,
before. I don't even think I'd be able to I think I'd be like, like,
they put you on a dolly and like roll you in there.
you would have to,
They're
like
not letting you not go.
no, I'm telling you, I would be hospitalized before I walked down that aisle because I would not physically, mentally, emotionally be able to do it. Even just thinking about it makes my stomach turn. Like, Love is Blind is the most, like that I mean, it was definitely, like, nerve-wracking, but also, like, at least at the end of the day, like, I've heard their voice, which I've learned after that. I was like, "Oh, I have, like, a voice type." I didn't realize that. That's why my biggest anxiety now on a date going on a date of, like, a dating app has become, what are they gonna sound like?
Okay.
Because I've
Well,
gone
they
on some
have
dates
some of
where
them have the voice, like you can leave at least
yeah,
when
but
I left the dating apps, they had the
yeah,
voice notes, right? Like you could
they do.
hear.
They do, but I don't do them. Because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna say. I don't really do dating apps anyway. I haven't had one in like over a year, but like,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like I don't know. I just when I before so I haven't since that came out with the little like voice memo thing. I haven't really gone on many dates, and like anyone I have on a date with didn't actually do it, like the voice memo.
Uh-huh.
So, because honestly, the voice memos I've never heard like. I mean, I have heard some good ones. I like the ones that are like, well, like kind of sound like they're trying to like sound like a radio DJ or something, and they're like, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah, and here's some tunes for you to
Yeah.
peruse my my
Even that
profile."
is nerve-wracking to do. Like,
Yeah,
not even being on TV, leaving a voice note for other
right. I
people
think
to
that's
listen
like
to.
cute because then I can like listen to music that they like and then
Yeah.
scroll or like they think is funny and like scroll their profile with that energy. And
So are you on the dating scene? Are you
not really, no. It's funny because I think a lot of the things that people think about me when I get on these shows is that I'm like boy crazy and I'm just like always dating and I'm just desperate for love and like always trying to find somebody and I can't. Where in real life, I go on like maybe 1 or 2 dates a year, first date,
okay?
like a year. And it's not because I end up dating these people. I go on like one date and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. And I really don't even like randomly hook up with people or anything like that. Like I like to flirt when I'm out and stuff. And like people ask for
Sure.
my number. I've started to do a thing where they ask for my number. I used to just say yes and then avoid the text if just to like avoid confrontation. But now I've switched it up to be like, if I'm interested in them, I'll be like, okay, here's my number. Yes. But also what's your Instagram?
You have
Because
to go to
I
Instagram
I'm gonna
first.
forget what you look like, not because of alcohol, but because I have a bathtub brain that it's a full bathtub. Water goes in and some has to come out. And, you know, I'm not gonna I don't remember people I've met several times, So I'm not gonna remember you and what you look like. And if I do, I'll like distort what you look like in my brain and then be disappointed when I see you again.
You gotta take the picture and then put it
Yeah.
in as your contact.
Yeah, that is a good move. I've had someone I think it I think it was Will from Perfect Match, who whenever we were done filming, we were still in Panama though, and we all went out and Um, not in like he didn't give me his number in like a give me your number kind of way. It wasn't like that, but he gave me his number but he took a picture and I was like,
Yeah.
that's smart. That's
Yes,
very
because
smart.
then you know exactly who it is. You have
And I've
like
done that. Yeah. I've done
yeah,
that for
it's a
people.
good move. I mean, I've been out of the dating game for a couple of years now, and I used to get like, send me a picture. I would never know, like, okay, send me a picture. Not anything dirty, just like send me a picture of you. And
Yeah,
I bet
thank
it
you.
was because that bathtub brain, they want to know who they're talking to and not, mess up
Like, I
that
don't want to
that
be rude
text
and be
thread.
like, oh, I don't really know if I remember you correctly in my brain. So I'm gonna need a picture. And I don't want to ask for that. So then I'll just avoid the text. Or I didn't really want to give my number in the first place, so then I just avoid the text. So, but if I do know I'm not interested in someone, but they're just like fun to talk to because like, I'll talk to people, but um I've started just being like, I could give you my number, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna text you back. And I know that I could give you my number and just I won't text you back, or I could just be upfront with you now and let you know. And most guys are like, honestly, I respect that.
That's
I
good.
appreciate it. I appreciate you saying it. Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to be honest, but sometimes it's
you.
better because there's always going to be one or two that are keep pursuing, thinking, like you're playing hard to get.
Yeah, I'm like,
But
"No, I just am not interested."
do you have any memorable dating stories, whether it's worst date, best date, weirdest DM you've gotten?
Oh, I mean, I've gotten a lot of weird DMs. Like, um, yeah, the DMs, I think you probably can know what those are, like, dick pics or
You did share some. I think we're going to talk
not a
about on
dick
your
pic. I did not share any dick
No,
pics.
no, no. Sorry, you did. Yeah,
For
you shared
clarification,
dick
for
pics.
clarification, I did share some, like, back in 2020, like, whenever I got a TikTok or the first, nothing else to do. Yeah, I did share some screenshots, and those weren't even the weirdest ones. Those are just the most recent ones I could find, and so, um, yeah, definitely some weird ones. Just, you know, general weirdness of people.
Yeah. People
But
are very weird, and I'm
I will
sure
say
you got them.
well, my favorite DMs that I like there's obviously the weird ones, the aggressive ones, like overly sexual ones, whatever. My favorite, and by that I mean my absolute least favorite, where I'm like, what the fuck were you even thinking? Was when people would just say hi
That's it. Nothing else.
or hi, Lauren.
Where do you go with that?
What do you want? Or
What
when
would
they're like,
be
hi, I would like to speak with you more. And I'm like, I don't know you at all. Oh, hi, I'm interested in dating you. Where do you even live? I don't know what you look like. This is not Love is Blind.
they think, yeah, maybe that's it. They think
We
that
were
because
not
you were on Love
handsome.
is Blind, you were open to continuing that experience
No.
off the show.
Not
What would
they
be
were
a
like,
successful way to slide into your
no.
DMs?
We all did like weeks. We had psych evaluations. We had so many interviews where we were asked about our type and like questionnaires with like hundreds, like 200-300 questions of that we had to type out the answer to, not multiple choice. Okay. Of like what we're looking for, what our dating history is, and that other people went through and filtered through to hand select these people. And then we all had background checks and psych evaluations. Like, I'm not just like gonna talk to some random people on the internet. And also it's not a fair situation because you know me, or you think you
Yeah.
do. You at least know what I look like. And you've heard me speak and you know like I'm like a general vibe of who I am. And I don't know you at all. I can't even see your profile. It's a fucking cartoon picture or like a sports logo. And you're a private account and I'm not adding you. So
move along. What is
yeah.
a good way to slide into your DMs? What would catch your attention?
In
a positive way. Nothing. Don't do it.
I don't know. I don't really know. If I'm being honest, I think
nothing's come up yet.
Nothing really. Yeah, and there was only one person that's DM'd me that I actually like met up with, and that's because I had met him previously, like right pre-pandemic, like the week of the pandemic starting. I'd met him like briefly while we were out, and I didn't remember he didn't ask for a number or anything like that. But then like he had DM'd me, and he said something about that, and I was like, oh yeah, I do kind of remember that. And he was like cute, so I was like, all right. And he lived down the street, so I was like, all right. Sure, I'll meet up and like outside if you want to.
Yeah, out in public.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were filling out the questionnaires and all that, like, do they ask you for references? Do they go deep enough to like, we want to talk to your friends and exes and all that,
No,
or is it?
They honestly should, but no, they don't. At least not the ones I did. I don't know what they do now.
It might have changed by now, but
I don't think it has. But yes, no, they don't.
because it's such a small circle. Like even in these big cities, Atlanta, Houston, we saw last season, like Lydia and Uche had known each other. So,
yeah. Well, Wesley,
if they haven't
on our season, Wesley, I went to high school with him.
You did?
Yeah, we worked together at Outback Steakhouse. We were hosts together, and I'd only remember because he has such like I didn't realize this about myself until I did Love is Blind, but I like really pay attention to people's voices. Like I didn't realize, and I guess now I know because the voiceover stuff I've kind of always been interested in, but like I knew, well, his name is Wesley. I don't know a lot of people named Wesley in Atlanta, but also he, not to like shit on Wesley, but he was, I was friends with him on Instagram before we filmed. And I remember being like rolling my eyes at him because I was like, he's posting all the time of this like sales bro stuff. And
oh yeah, like, I see that on his page.
Yeah, like writing on his whiteboard and quoting himself kind of thing. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's so annoying. And I was like, I haven't even seen him since like high school. It's been like a long time. Do I even really need to be friends with him? And I had unfollowed him. Maybe a couple weeks within a month of going to film. And I was just like, he was posting so much. So I heard his voice a lot. And then when we got into the pods at the first day, he was like, my name is Wesley. And I was like, I'm LC. And I was called LC in high school.
Okay.
Like to the point where people didn't even know my name was Lauren. They thought it was LC, like ELSIE. And he knew me as LC. And I said, I'm LC. And then he was, I was like, wait, are you Wesley? Like Wesley the Bear? Wesley Bear? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I'm LC as in like Lauren Chamblin. I don't even know if we went to my high school. We went to high school at the same time, but we worked it out back together. I do remember.
Yeah, so you did like have
"Oh my God."
interactions.
We walked out of that pod and were immediately pulled by production, and they were like, "Do not fucking say this. I swear to God, if you say anything." I was like, "I won't. I'm not gonna say anything."
So you could you
We
continue
never
to
talked again in the pods.
Okay, I was gonna say, was that by choice or was that like we don't
I
want
put him at
to?
absolute bottom. I was like, "I don't want to talk
You
to him."
saw the sales bro stuff.
I was like, "I know him and I'm not interested." Not any, like, no offense to him as like a person. Like, I think he's cool, like a
Not a
friend,
good match.
but
Yeah,
like, I just know it's not the match.
yeah, and that's okay. There's my grandparents used to say there's a lid for every pot,
Yeah,
and he's not your
common
lid
pot.
or he's not your pot, whichever one you want to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Now,
guess
you
maybe I'll be pot.
you've teased some voiceover work. So I do want to get to that. So Jordan, can we go into our Instagram deep dive? So this is a segment we started recently. Oh boy, look at you go.
The many faces.
This was we kind of took our inspiration from Hot Ones. They do hot takes where they go back into the archives and they pull some gems. So I have gone back to the beginning of your Instagram and TikTok feeds through the years. And here are some of your posts. So we are gonna, without further comment, go through them really quickly, and you just tell us like what's going on, where you were at that point in time, and just have some fun with it. And the last one is an opportunity. I know you like to sing, no pressure, but if you want to think of like a Britney song ahead of time, we would love to hear a little bit of it.
Okay.
And like tease you could use it for your voiceover reel, So Jordan, do you want to I guess scroll through one at a time, maybe? There we go. All right, what do we have here, Elsie?
Okay, so this was my senior year of college, and I sang a song. If you're familiar with oh God, the name is blanking me out. The song is called Dance 10 Looks 3. Oh my God, my brain has left the chat.
That's right. I'm gonna pick it up really quick.
It's a song. It's also
Chorus line.
It's a chorus line. I was like, oh God, it's like a very iconic musical, and I forgot to read it. Yeah. So it's affectionately known as it's written. The name of the song is called Dance 10 Looks 3. Like they're all dancers in a chorus line. Which is why I look like I'm dressed as a dancer. And she says that whenever she sees her like little card where she's at an audition, it says dance 10, looks 3. And so she gets a boob job and I guess a butt job. I don't even know. But so the song it's called Tits and Ass is what the song is.
Oh, yes, I do know this song.
Yeah, tits and ass. Got the bingo bongos done. So like that is what I had to do in front of all my friends and family and and teachers and professors. The president of our school sat in the very
that's nice.
Front center.
Who picked this?
I was assigned this. We did. I love of my life. His name is George. He's gay. He's now passed away, but he worked at Disney World for like 25 years choreographing. He choreographed like J-Lo and stuff, and he is amazing. And he picked this out for me because, I have boobs and I can sing the song. And,
okay.
It's a silly song. It's a fun song to sing. I will say it was a really fun song to sing. But they had to put this sign up, because that was really the most like, all the other songs are pretty like G-rated, and this was like PG-13, I guess, maybe rated R.
We do have like audio only. We do video podcasts, but can you just read the sign so people have context?
Oh yeah. The sign says, "Attention parents, this program contains material that may be unsuitable for young audiences, PG-13. Because I'm definitely singing a song going tits and ass, like just the whole like shaking it around.
And you were in high school for this?
No, college, senior year of college.
Okay, that's a lot better. I thought you were in high school.
No.
A lot of follow-up questions.
No, I tend to always in college, especially, get cast as like like a comedic role, but it was always like a woman who was like very like sexualized. Like I
Okay.
also that same year the year before that we did The Producers, and I was Ula in The Producers. We did Sweet Charity where I played, burlesque dancer. I was
Okay.
one of the
So
main
you
that. So like I always got cast as like slutty but funny characters.
but you also have to have an outgoing enough personality that you're comfortable with that, because a lot of people wouldn't be. And I think that kind of like precursors your appearance on these dating shows, because everybody's good looking on these shows. Like you have to be comfortable in your own skin. So it's not even so much like, I don't think the typecasting like that is like these
Like,
burlesque as
I think it was less about me as like I think I do have like a goofy personality. Like I see the humor in things, and I am like I'm a pretty person. I wouldn't say I'm like hot. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, that girl's hot. She's sexy. I think I'm more like silly. I'm pretty. I'm cute. Maybe even gorgeous sometimes. But like I don't think I'm like hot, like sex. I don't think like I ooze like a sex appeal, like I think I'm like, you look at me and you get to know me and you're like, that girl's adorable. And I think my mom would love her. And I think that's more of a vibe I give off. But like when I do these roles, these kinds of roles tend to be a little beltier.
okay.
And they do require some level of comedic timing. So I think like I was I was a strong belter, and I had some comedic timing, and I have boobs. So I think that
So it worked out.
I think it just kind of happened that way.
All right. What do we have next, Jordan?
I mean, this one
Okay.
speaks for
So
itself. It's a picture of me as a child in my childhood bedroom, probably like 10, maybe not 8 to 10, maybe, I don't know, with a poster of Aaron Carter that I got probably from a magazine, and that was hanging in my room. And Aaron Carter is my love of my life and my boyfriend.
now, are you team Backstreet Boys or team NSYNC? I know he wasn't in the Backstreet Boys, but
Yeah,
obviously that
I am
connection.
like, not to be morbid, gun to my head,
Mhm.
Backstreet Boys. It's always gonna be Backstreet Boys for me. I actually seen
Yes,
them
thank
twice
you.
in concert as an adult, like a couple of years ago. I went to see them in concert, and like,
Did you really?
yeah, and then also again in like, I think probably around the time of Love Is Blind, I also saw them in live as well, like in 2018, 2019.
Was it like
Maybe.
a calm enough vibe? I went as a teenager.
Oh,
You can't
no.
hear anything.
Uh, no, it's those same people that were at that concert, but now they're adults and they can drink. So
It's even worse.
it's even better.
Even better. Okay.
No, literally, they can still dance their little butts off, and they are really good singers.
They
And you know
are.
what? The thing is, in sync, where are they? Singing a song for trolls? Okay.
I mean, they maybe come out with the tour. I don't know. There's a lot of NSYNC fans. I've always been team Backstreet
I
Boys.
do
I
love
had all the posters too.
I also love NSYNC. I'm just saying, like,
Where are they now? Where have you been?
who is really there for us when we needed them?
That's true.
And also,
All
I've met
right.
Justin Timberlake in passing. They filmed Trouble at the Curve that he was in at our school, at my college, and we were extras in it. And he was
Nice.
just kind of a dick to everyone. Every single
Oh,
person the entire week they were there that had a story, it wasn't a good one. So I was like,
okay. Well,
eh.
I don't know well, but I've gone out a few times in the same like orbit as Chris Kirkpatrick, and he's always been really cool. Like he lives in
Yeah.
Orlando. We just
Mhm.
moved in the same circles, and he's always been so nice and like,
Yeah.
you don't want to bother him. So I was never trying to
Yeah.
fangirl, but he would have a casual conversation with you and like buy a
Yeah.
drink or whatever. It was really nice. So I had good experiences with him, but
Yeah.
that's
I don't know. I've always been a Backstreet girl.
me too. All right, Jordan, what have we got next?
I was actually filming. This was in the hotel room when I was waiting for Perfect Match to be filmed. I was in Panama.
Okay.
I was in Panama. It was like I was just so fucking bored, clearly. Like just
Now these are the which character smash
smash
or pass,
smash or
right?
pass. Yes.
So we do have a smash or pass for you coming up,
Yeah.
reality TV edition with a
Okay.
couple of others thrown in there, but mostly reality TV.
Yes.
So you were just bored playing some smash or pass.
Yeah. Yeah. Smash or pass.
All right, let's pass on over to the next one. What's going on here?
Again, well, this is at home, but yeah, again, just like, hopping on a trend. I forget what the sound was for this one, but I think it was like, ew, cringe or something like that. And it's like, I do consider myself as a millennial, I do think I am objectively cringe, and I stand, it's fine. But someone that casts themselves and their friends in every movie / TV show they watch, ew, cringe. And then you kind of like look away, like, it wasn't me.
So, not that is you, but if
Disney.
you were to, I know you're a fan of New Girl. If you were to cast some of your Love is Blind friends in some of the main New Girl roles, like just that pop into your head really quick.
Well, me and Diamond have joked that our dynamic is very CC and God, Zoe Deschanel. I can't literally these things I forget is not because I don't know them.
I'm here for you.
I forget is because I have ADHD and things don't pop into my brain as I need them to sometimes.
I got you, Elsie. I'm here.
Thank you. I could honestly forget the name of my best friend and be like, fuck.
Okay, so I'll give you, so that's Jess. So you and Diamond are Jess
we always
and
do
Cece.
joke about that our dynamic specifically is very much Jess and Cece, which I do think
so
it is.
Who from Love is Blind would be like a New Girl, Nick and Schmidt? Let's go with.
There's no Schmidt.
No.
I will say I don't think anyone from my season, at least that I know, they're not any of those characters, like I do think
that's fair enough. They're hard to like
emulate. Match. I could probably do some of those.
Oh yeah, it doesn't. Okay, let's open up to the reality TV world. Who do you got?
Because I will say, I think Dom would I think he thinks he's a Nick energy, but he's a Winston. Not because he's black. Not because he's
going to say who would be Winston.
It is purely off vibes, where he is like, he is a girl's girl and he is a guy's guy. And that is Winston. He's silly, he's goofy, and I think he can make a good cocktail.
Oh, yeah, okay. Would he make a good cop, do you think?
I don't really even see Winston as a cop.
No, I don't either. I don't know if so like the New Girl universe, I feel like intersects a little bit with reality TV just because it's a lot of the same fan bases. But Jake Johnson and Gareth Reynolds, who played Brian the security guard.
Oh, I listen.
We're here to help. Oh my God. Just like
I listen to every episode. Recently, I've just started, like, that's been the last like 2 or 3 weeks I learned about it. Maybe the last month or so.
Yeah.
Same. I've been listening from the beginning. I've listened to every episode. I love it.
We're here to help, like unofficial promo for that show. I love it. I would love to see you giving advice on that show. I think it would be so much fun.
Yeah.
And they have New Girl cast members on too, but obviously Jake Johnson, who played Nick, like Lamorne's been on. I have like, at the time,
Lamorne Morris.
I did have a crush on Lamorne Morris. As we have refined and aged, I have a crush on Lamorne Morris.
No, literally the episode where Lamorne Morris was on it and they were trying to come up with like that wedding toast thing.
Yes.
For the girl. I was giggling, listening to it in the car, like just
I love the one where they come up with the surprise for the dad for the holiday photo shoot.
Yes.
They actually got them to fly in. Like, they are so creative with their advice.
And I watched it. They put it in there.
Yeah, so I watched you.
I could cry.
I love it. Great show. If you're a fan of our show, and I know a lot of people like the love stories that we're doing, like the positive news, or we're going to bring back, please check out We're Here to Help, unofficial promo. Moving on to, I think this is the last Insta deep dive. Oh yes. So what do we have here, Elsie?
Just one of those things where like you're doing the eyes. They have some where it's like the mouth or the nose to cut out, where it's like just someone's face and you do the eyes for them.
Now these are all
with Britney Spears.
These are all Britney. Now I could see there's 3 of them for anybody who's not watching. If you want to see it, it'll be on YouTube in 2 weeks. But there's the last one. I could really see like your eyes fit in.
Like I was really lining it up. I was really trying to line it up.
Okay?
I did this with Euphoria cast as well.
Could
guys.
now could you give us, if it's not too much on the spot, a little bit of Britney? Like,
Of
could you?
course.
Okay.
Baby, baby, how was I supposed to know?
Yes. That is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
If you close your eyes, I would think we have Britney Spears in
No,
the
like,
house right
yeah,
now.
don't guys, this is just, it's LC. If you're listening and not watching, this is just LC
Yeah.
still. I didn't turn on the radio. It's just me.
It is LC, who we love having on and who does some voice work too. So can you tell us uh
Yeah, it's been in a lull, for several different reasons that we don't need to get into right now. But, mostly just because of my own self, and it's, like, a little scary to, like, trying to do something that you actually, like, care about and you actually, like, wanna do, as
yeah.
I learned. So, yeah, that's been the holdup there, and also with, like, the SAG strikes and the writer's strike and stuff like that, there wasn't, like, a whole lot to audition for especially because 'cause I'm newer to the voiceover stuff and I didn't have
Yeah.
like, an agent, and most agencies were, like, rightfully not accepting new talent because they wanted to take care of anything they do have that they can, you know.
Ooh, I'm gonna DM you. I have somebody that you should talk to.
Okay, yeah. But, anything, so I've taken the classes the last, like, couple years, and, there's a really good studio here called, Atlanta Voiceover Studio.
Very
Very,
creative.
very creative name, but they actually have really great classes. Um, Not super expensive either. I think it was, like, it ranges from, like, 150 to, like, 350 based on, like, the classes, like, per month.
Okay.
But they're really
Yeah,
good.
that is not bad.
No, it's not bad, and, but I've learned a lot there, and also I think being a theater kid, and, like, doing, like, not just, like, doing shows, but, like, actually majoring in it and, like, doing it for real and, like, learning the things, I always am like, "I gotta learn the craft," and I think it also was part of a little bit of an excuse as well to, like, not fully dive into it when I know that I probably could have, but, yeah, it's just, like, a lot because when you do voiceover, you not only do you have to do, like, the acting and the voiceover, where I'm at right now, eventually you don't have to, but to do all this, but where I'm at right now is like also am the editor and
Yeah.
and like directing myself and all these things. I've done like a little things here and there, but nothing like crazy.
It
Um
is really hard to do the editing. Like, I
yeah.
give Jordan so
Oh,
much credit because she does all the behind the scenes production and she edits even like these episodes, which really don't need to be edited, like fixing
yeah.
sound. And yeah, it is a hard.
Well, I also get really in my head about I'm not good at like directing myself. Like I feel like I'll end up doing something like the same audition like 500 times where really I probably landed on this first or second try, like now I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's not even, I've like, how when you say a word over and over again, and now it's just like, doesn't even make sense. It's not even a real word
Yeah.
to me anymore. That's kind of how it feels sometimes when I'm like doing it. So I try to be like, okay, I'm going to do like 3 takes of this and then, or like, 4 takes of this, pick the best 2, send them. And it's really hard because then sometimes and also my editing has evolved. So at first, like the auditions I was sending, now I look back and listen back and I'm like, oh God, I had no fucking clue. What that sounds horrible. I know
That's
I
how
did
that's how every professional think about like when you first started in your career to where you are now, or
for
even in
any job.
life.
Any new job you
Anything.
start, like in the first, like, 6 months or something it's always like a learning curve, I've been a recruiter for like 6 years, like that's always what I tell people, but it's easier said than done. And also it's like something I actually care about and I've always been seemingly naturally good at. So, good at without super trying. So it's like hard when I don't have that's why I like taking the classes, I think, because to be
Mhm.
honest, like when I took the class, like you have to take the beginner class first, which I was like, great. And I probably could have I mean, I couldn't have because you can't take that. You can't take other classes until you take that. But I probably could have skipped it because it really was a lot of basic if you did theater if classes at any point in your life, which I did major in it and did it in high school and college and all that and stuff. So it's like I've learned all the techniques and I know how to analyze a text without thinking about analyzing a text. I just am doing it automatically and it was kind of like a back to basics thing, which was good because I haven't done theater in like a while, like 10, 11 years at this point. So it was kind of like a good refresher, but I was like, oh, I'm like still pretty good at this. And compared to, I was like, I don't want to compare myself to everyone in the class because honestly, everyone in the class was great. Like there were
Sure.
times where everyone, including myself, like did bad readings or whatever. And like we worked on it. But there was times where people got up there and like crushed it on the first try. And it was cool for me to hear other people too, and feedback and give feedback and like directing. Cause I always have loved like directing. I'm a very bossy person by nature. But I love doing that kind of stuff and like watching people like get it, and all that. And then doing it myself and being told like, sometimes it sucked because they would be like, I don't even have a note. That was really good. And I'm like, no, just like, they're like, okay, here's one just for fun and like do something like weird with it. And so it was really fun in a way that like, kind of like boosted my ego in a little way where it was like
Nice.
a reminder of like, you can do this and you're good at it. You've always been good at it and you stopped. So it was kind of like one of those things, but then I think I just get so like, oh, God,
In your head.
what if it
Would
doesn't work
you,
out? What if it does? It's even more
if
scary.
it doesn't work out, you're not doing it now anyway. So
I'm, it's always the thing where I would tell someone this too, like, well, if you don't try, like, you don't know, like,
yeah,
it's like, if you don't,
you got to shoot or shoot, Lauren.
Yeah. It's the whole lottery slogan, you got to play to win.
That's true. Would you ever transition that into like auditioning for on-camera work?
I don't know. I actually think voiceover is a lot more like theater to me. And I've done auditions for, film stuff, and I'm not against it by any stretch, but that's just like, I have no training in film. I think it's a very different acting, in film than it is in, theater,
Yeah.
but in voiceover, you kind of have to be like a theater. I think musical theater to voiceover is a perfect.
Yeah, you have to be a lot more animated because
Well, yeah, but also when you do musical theater specifically, you learn how to sing and also you learn how to talk. If I I had to like relearn how to speak my senior year of high school because we were doing a show without mics and like I didn't want to blow my voice out, like, and so you have to, and people have to hear me. So like you have to learn how to talk without a mic and like I know it sounds so like, well, you got to learn how to talk, like the fuck. But like people don't, and like the way you can use your head and your voice and your throat and your nose and your eye, like your whole head and your face, like your whole body to make a noise come out. I feel like if you do musical theater, if you're trained in it, you probably had voice lessons at some point, like I did too. And I've been doing that since voice lessons since I was like in elementary school and choir, all that stuff. And like, you really do learn your body as like a tool, as an instrument. Like you're not just trying to go up there and sing. You're trying to go up there and like you're using muscles. Like it's you want to sound like this, it's got to come from a different way. You're going to sound like this, it's got to come from a different way. If you want to sound like this without losing your voice, you got to do it like that. And I don't even know how to explain it without it just being something that you just learn without even knowing that you're learning it. And then I didn't realize it until I got out of musical theater more and was talking to other people who've never done musical theater and, about things of when they're sick, or I'm like, oh yeah, like, that part of like your soft palate, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what's a soft palate? And I'm like, oh yeah. That like when you yawn and there's like a part that goes, oh, like, it's like, I don't know. We don't need to get into any of this.
all the details.
Tangent of anything, but this specifically. So yeah.
All right. Now I think what we'll do is, because I do want to play some of these games with you, but let's do that as some bonus content. And we're going to get into the fan questions because we have quite a few for you.
Okay.
About Love is Blind, Perfect Match, and like your life since.
Yeah.
So some of this is going to probably be like repetitive for you, but this is what the fans want to know. So we are here for them. And I know you are too. So from Serotonin Writes on Reddit, why were you ever into Bartiz on Perfect Match?
Okay, listen, we had never seen his season of Love is Blind. Okay. He hadn't even seen his season of Love is Blind. He just filmed it like a few months prior. So, but I actually had met him probably like right after they were done, maybe like a few weeks, maybe like a month-ish after they were done filming. I had met him because I was dating a mutual friend of his. And so I met him and some other people in that cast. Most people I met were people who weren't shown, but he was one of them. And so like I knew who he was, and he was like a really nice, like charismatic person. And he's cute. Like if you don't listen, he is really, I'm so impressed with him and proud of him now too, with the way he handled his whole like baby situation. I think he's like one of the few people I do still like talk to all the time too. But first of all, I never got to pick that I was on a date with Bartise. I'm glad it was him though, because I knew I was going to have fun. Like the second I learned it was him, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Like this is going to be a fun date, because me and him are both like flirty, like fun, funny, like goofy people. Anyway, like we can joke, we like to joke around. And also he's like tall, and he's like tall, dark, and handsome. You know, he's a little cutie patootie. I don't think I've ever been into him in like that way, but like he's like, y'all, he's like 6'4", okay? After a certain height, like you're just attractive in my brain. Like
there's no other, your face blind.
Yeah. But also he's got like a nice smile. Like I think he's like a good looking guy. Like I think
he's a good looking guy.
Yeah. Like I think I got to know him without the already precursor of like, oh, he's a horrible, horrible man. He's the worst. And I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that was left out of his story on Love is Blind, because I heard him explain it to me without, he didn't even know what was going to be shown. So his version of it, where, you know, we all have our own versions of our own stories, but like his version of it too, like I think there was some things that were left out that would have made things make a little more sense, and would also have made not Nancy look bad by any stretch, but just like it would have made them look a little more equal, I think, maybe, or at least like make maybe less of that and more like you kind of understand maybe why Bartise was doing something he did. And also he's like 25, 26, I think, when he went on that show. So like as someone who's 26 going on that show, I had no business being on that show. I thought I knew, thought I did. No, I have no
idea. It is young. It is, I know, you know, like 50 years ago, maybe different, but it is young to talk about getting married. Yeah. Grandma 18 popping out babies in her nightgown. It is very different. And I would say Bartise is probably one of the most brought up in our Facebook group, like one of the most brought up cast members, not necessarily in a positive way.
To hate him. Yes. You know why? Because one of the things too, I told him, I was like, you got to lean into it. If you're going to be this, if you're going to, now when we were seeing what the writing on the wall was, because I knew at that point, I knew he was like fucking around on Perfect Match. So I knew he was going to probably be, he knew he was probably going to be a villain from Perfect Match. Okay. So, but he was like, oh, it's fine, because I don't think I'll look that bad on my season of Love is Blind.
Oh no.
But then, yeah. So, but when we saw like when Love is Blind, I remember when Love is Blind, his season came out, and I was like talking to him, and I was like, Bartise, you gotta lean into this, because he didn't do anything horrible, you know. It wasn't like, you know, horrible stuff. It was just like being generally like a 25-year-old dickhead, you know. And so I was like, you kind of gotta lean into this, or it's gonna eat you alive, I think, you know. So he did, and I think he has I think that's why people love to hate him, and I think that's why people are okay with talking so much shit about him. Whereas if you notice, the Jessica talking shit kind of died, didn't really, it was around for sure for a while.
Oh yeah,
talking shit about her, but it didn't stick for as long, because, well, first of all, because after the altar and we revealed Mark is actually a shitty person, but then also because she was upset about it and was pretty clear about how she was upset about it. And so people don't want to like shit on someone who already feels bad, you know? So
I don't know. The fans in this group are pretty brutal.
At a certain point though, like it gets to be too much, like not for like years, you know? There's always people who hate everyone, you know, but it's just kind of like, I think Bartise just like leans into it, and he's and it hurts his feelings too sometimes, of course, but like,
of course, people are brutal. But I do think it kind of turns around now, like you said, how he's handling the situation with his son. People grow and they change. And
also to this question, I never picked Bartise.
You were mad. Yeah. You guys didn't pick your, no,
somebody picked us to go on a date, and then we matched with other people that night. So,
which brings us to our next question is, what do you think about Nick now that you've actually...
I mean, okay, here's the thing. I think that if me and Nick had been in there in the beginning, I think that it would have been really fun. I think he would have eventually left me when Izzy came in. That's one of those things where I think it would have been I mean, it would have sucked for me, but I think it would have been an entertaining story of being like, here is these two people who seem like a decent, like, maybe not a perfect match, but we seem like a good match. We're both like similar vibes, similar sense of humor. And yeah, I think like on paper, it seemed like and even in real life, like we actually did like have a pretty steamy makeout on Perfect Match as well. I will say the way they showed that, me and his story on Perfect Match, I was like, y'all, okay.
Okay. Not happy with that.
I should have seen this coming because they didn't show anything about the kiss. They didn't show any of the stuff of him. Like we both were like, no, we're not a perfect match. Like, what the fuck? We've known each other for 2 seconds. No, this is weird. This is all very weird. Like, it'd be nice. It'd be cool. Like, I was like, I don't know how am I supposed to say I'm a perfect match. I don't even know him really.
Nobody on that show was a perfect match for each other. It was clearly not the Love is Blind. Let's long-term go into this vibes.
But what they showed was me being like, hey, I love Nick. I think he's so great. Which like, I was always like, yeah, he's a great guy. Like, I think Nick is cool. Like, I think we could be a match. It'd be fun if we were. And also, I think I just was giving off a lot of nervous energy in general. So they had a lot of good clips for me being like, and that's like my eyes will never tell, like my eyes just make me look nervous all the time. I think I have resting like sad face or nervous face.
I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah, no, I definitely do. I didn't know that really until I watched myself on these shows and I'm like, oh, I look like I'm just like always like, what's like,
you're doe-eyed. You have a very like,
I guess that's a nice way of putting it. Yes.
That's what it is. It's nice because that's what it is.
I just have big eyes. I'm like,
you're very girl next door, like,
and I am nervous.
Anxiety ridden.
I do have a lot of anxiety, so there's also that.
All right, let's move on. Our next question is from Slosh Kosh Student. What is your point of view of the Amber versus Jessica? Like bringing it way back, the Amber versus Jessica situation.
I think it is stupid. I always thought it was really stupid. Like, actually, so whenever Love is Blind aired, I remember like the first few episodes, like just the pod ones, and then maybe like one in Mexico. I think it was the first like 4 or 5 episodes that came out. And I remember texting Amber because they kind of made it, they were trying to do this while we were filming. I do remember them kind of trying to pit us against each other. And I physically jumped. We didn't talk for like 24 hours, which in the pod seemed like a year. But I was like, this is too weird. This is too weird. I feel like they're trying to make this a narrative of me against Amber, and I don't want this. And there was like, we wouldn't even make eye contact for like a day once we realized we were like both into Barnett like that. And we were like, oh, this is too weird. She's one of the first people I met. Like I met her at the psych evaluation.
Oh, okay.
Before we even started filming. So like, I, was like, she's a friend. Like, I don't want to be in this situation with anybody, but not, especially not her. And also she kind of scares me a little. So I was like, I don't want to be in this situation with her.
How so?
Just like she's an intimidating person. She's like like the first time I met her, she was talking about all these fights she'd been in high school. And I was like,
oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. The background. Oh, I hear you.
I've barely even like flicked anybody. So I don't know. Not my vibe. But, and she's like been in the military and shit, like,
yes, she's I'm like strong woman.
Yeah. She's just a lot more like outspoken, than I'm comfortable being sometimes. And I respect that about her. That's what I like about her. A lot of my friends are like that. So, I was like, I don't want to be in this situation. I physically jumped on her, on the couch, put my entire body on her body and was like, I love you. And I don't want to do this with you. Can we just like, we're both actually, I know we're with the same person, but we're both 2 of the only people feeling this way in this room, in this cast, because we were the only 2 that really there was other love triangles, but it was always 1 girl and 2 guys. But we were the only ones that was like 2 girls and 1 guy. And so I had no one else to talk to about it, And I was like, we don't need to talk about Barnett, but we can talk about how we're feeling, And so that's what we did from there. So we were both pretty open about it, each other, like, respectfully open with each other about it when we were filming. And then I'm gonna be honest, both of us when we watched that, I was like, what? Did the Jessica stuff? Huh? Because it always seemed like a love triangle, and then it didn't really seem like much of a square. And I was like, this got to be like an editing thing. Because I remember Jessica and Barnett in the beginning, like first half of the pods, for sure. But I think I was texting Amber, and it must have been when they were the other episodes then, because I remember her being pissed when I texted her. I was like, hey, how are you feeling? And she was like, not good, to be honest. I'm pretty fucking pissed. I was like, oh. I thought
that was a rough one.
I thought it was about me for a second, because I was kind of alluding to our situation, because in the episode they kind of showed some things out of context of, me being like mad or being like, I don't even remember what I was saying. Just like, it kind of seemed like I was like talking a little shit or something. And it's like, that's not really what was happening. And so, yeah. But then she was talking to me about Jessica. She's like, I had no idea all that stuff went down of like them talking to each other. And I was like, yeah, I didn't know that either. Like, I didn't really expect that to be a thing either. And let's just say that whenever people talk on reality TV, for the most part, it's because a producer has been like, what we're saying is not scripted, but the topic we are discussing and where we are sitting and who we are sitting with is usually, that's the only like produced part, like what we're saying is not scripted. But they
sit you down together like, hey, call Jessica over, call this one over?
The Jessica situation, I think they probably were like, hey, Barnett, go sit over here in this courtyard, and we're gonna have someone come talk to you. And then Jessica comes up and goes, and they're like, hey, Jessica, go talk to Barnett over there. He's waiting for you to go talk to him. So
is it spun like Barnett wants to talk to Jessica and then Jessica wants to talk to Barnett?
I think from what I was told about that specific topic, I think it was less like spun, but I think it was kind of just like details being left out. And like, hey, Barnett, someone's gonna come talk to you. I don't know if they would have said Jessica or not. And then Jessica, him being like, he's waiting for you over there to talk to. Same thing like when after the altar, when me and Diamond and Amber kind of got into that whole situation, it was like they were like, hey, Diamond and LC, go sit on that couch and talk about Mark again. Or no, yeah, I think it was talking about Mark again. And then of course, Amber, I don't know if she was told to come over, but she came over and started talking to us, and we were talking about Mark. And so then that's how that whole conversation started. So it's like what we said was our own like doing, but like the situation's not. And also I know production's like real, I'll probably get in trouble for saying stuff like this, but also like, I don't think that's bad. Like, I think if anything, that's actually good for people to know, not just like, because I don't think it's like I think it actually seems like it's less produced. Like it's not as produced as you think that it is. At least the shows I've been on. Like I've heard about other things, but like we're not scripted. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, say this. And if you can or you don't, whatever. Like, me saying bad luck LC, like I would never fucking say that. But they made me say it. And I tried to say it in different ways and they just made me say it like that. And I was like, okay, fine. But there's some things like that, but it's not like full like we're not getting scripts and memorizing our lines and then having to talk to you the next day, like, but people think that.
And we've heard both ways, like where Nick, whose episode just came out yesterday, I think, was on the show from season 2. And he said like they would make them reenact fights that they've already had to get that if either they didn't capture it or if they needed it a different way, whatever. So again, not scripted, but like produced. And I think it depends on everybody's individual experiences too, who your producer is, what your storyline is. Like there's so many individual elements because there's no like middle ground. It seems like either everybody would do it again or wants nothing to do with it, and had a great time, had a terrible time. There's not too many like, that we've experienced anyway.
I will say I'm kind of like, I don't really care. Like, if I did it again, it'd be fine if I didn't. If I ever did reality show again, I would want to be on it for just a longer time to have the actual experience and like be comfortable in the situation and whatever. So, because I feel like it does take a second to get used to. Like me being thrown in on Perfect Match at the end, I'm like so deeply uncomfortable, and it's very aware. Like you can tell. I'm like so nervous and awkward. I'm like, this is so fucking weird. Like
the people with reality TV the career reality TV personalities, I'll say, your Joeys, your Francescas, are comfortable because they, Joey has acting experience. Francesca's been through the reality TV like circuit in a lot of ways. They are comfortable with that. And that is, they make, living off of that. You're doing it for the experience. You're doing it for the fun. And it's okay to have that different vibe. It's okay to be nervous because that's what makes the dynamic different. If it was all career reality TV, you'd have a different show. If it was all people who are anxious and nervous, you'd have a completely different show too. Now, the next question we have, which was also from the same Reddit user, is the feud or I'll open it up bigger. Are any of the feuds from season 1 still going on? Do people not talk to each other out of anger, or is it just
like, I think Amber is always going to hate Jessica. I don't think Jessica cares about it. She's kind of just, I mean, also like by the time the show came out, it was a year. By the time After the Altar was filmed, it was 2 years after we filmed Love is Blind. I'm like, bro, you've been married for 2 years. Like, why do you still care about someone who we were all in the same situation? You barely knew Barnett when that was happening. Like, you just met him. So
that's what confuses me. Like, I don't know if you watched the last season where like Izzy had the drawer of like ex's stuff, or when there is like the love triangles. You guys all really, you could have deep feelings, but like you all just met. So it's weird to be so territorial. But
with Izzy's stuff, it felt more like serial killer energy to like just keep keep a drawer of like things from exes or people you hooked up with. It kind of seemed like a little like I'm taking a souvenir from someone I just killed. So I think that was the problem why it was weird. I feel like from what it looked like for me with that situation was like, it was less about like that you have exes or you've hooked up with people in the past. And it was more like, why the fuck are you keeping this, you creepy little weirdo? That was more what it was for me.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. If any feud is still going on from season 1, we filmed it 5.5, a little over 5 years ago.
I can't oh my God. I cannot believe that much time has passed. I feel like 2020 to 2023 was like 6 months.
No, truly. That's how I feel about it too. And here's the thing though. I am the kind of person where I'm completely over, like, obviously I don't give a fuck about the Mark stuff at all. But like, if I start talking about it and I bring it up, I'm going to start getting mad about it again because I'm not going to, I'm like that with anything. If you bring up a time in elementary school that someone like was mean to me, that if you start talking to me about it, I will get heated about it, So it's like, I don't care in my day-to-day life. It doesn't keep me up at night, guys. Like I don't. So I don't know if maybe they're like that too, but I don't know. I would just rather not.
Let's find out. Our next question is, there we go. Did you feel pressure to pick a side?
No.
It seemed like you hung out more with Jessica.
No, because the side was picked for me by Amber because of Mark, I guess. I don't know.
I think she definitely picked a side in that situation.
And we all get up and I thought everything was fine, but to this day, I would message her after we filmed After the Altar. I would message her, DM her about, something she posted or whatever, or text her about something. Never heard a thing back, never hung out with her again. And I was like, did we not make up at After the Altar? But then conveniently, whenever After the Altar came out and everyone was shitting on her for being a little kind of an asshole and about the Mark situation, and everyone like came down on her and she was mad at me for that. And I was defending her. I was like, guys, it's not that way. Like we made up, it's fine. Knowing that we made up, but she never talked to me again. And I was still like, she doesn't deserve this. But then she would still go on all these publications. Her and I, to this day, probably could still get a message. But people in the past year, even people were DMing me being like, Barnett and Amber went live and they're talking shit about you again. I've seen them in real life in public in situations with like less than 10 people. And I walked in and was like, hey, just acknowledging like, we don't have to like chit chat and be best friends this whole time. But like, just being like, hey, like, I know you are a person that exists.
We have met before.
The way that they like pretend they don't even see me, and I'm like, okay.
Right. It seems like her.
I don't know, deal with it.
Like her general sour experience with Love is Blind that she has come out with has soured her relationships. Like in general, it was just maybe something she wants to put behind her, and that affects her relationship. Sorry, I'm freezing. It's so cold in here.
Oh no, same. It just makes me mad because when after the Ultra came out, and she really, again, we had not spoken. It was like almost a year. It was not quite a year. It was maybe like 9 months ish from filming after the Ultra to when it came out. And then she was like, all of a sudden now, and we hadn't spoken. She didn't respond to anything I'd ever sent her. I just stopped reaching out to her in general because of that. And then all of a sudden she's talking all this shit about me in any interview she can. Barnett too. And I'm like, bro, you don't even go here. Also, like, Mark said not nice things about Amber, so behind her back. So I wouldn't die on that hill, Amber.
Oh boy.
Not a safe hill to die on, if I'm being honest. And also, I never heard anything about Mark defending her. She was out here risking her reputation, defending him, and he never said a word from what I can tell. But so she was posting these pictures of me and her and Diamond after when we had made up. We all talked about it, and we talked it out, whatever. And we were fine, I thought. And we took some pictures and we were chit-chatting. And but then I hadn't talked to her since. And then she posts those pictures and she's like, see guys, basically being like, see guys, we're friends, we're fine. TV is not real. Reality TV is lying. And I'm like, okay, I'll go with this. But we all know I haven't seen you since that night. You haven't responded to anything I sent you since that night. And you continue to talk shit about me since that night. So, it's a no for me,
It's funny because the original feuds from like season 1 and then the original feuds from season 5, you would think would die down more with your season because there's been so much time. But everybody from season 5 is like, yeah, it happened, whatever, I'm over it after the altar. And with you guys, like there's still these, and maybe it's just because, Amber felt the way she did about her whole experience. Yeah. I can't speak for her. She was another fan request to have on. I doubt she will because I know she doesn't want to talk about this show. But yeah. All right. Next question.
I don't think it's like a feud, to be fair. Like I just
It's just like you guys don't.
It's not worth my time to try to be friends with this person or nice to her.
Everybody can't get along. It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
No, I'm not gonna be mean. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, understandable.
Control, Alt, Delete. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference.
All right, that's a good one. Yeah. All right, now I want to thank Repulsive Ads 7180. Always hits us with great questions. He or she or they would like to know if there was anything Barnett said to you that wasn't aired that might give more insight into your relationship and dynamic.
Yeah, basically 99.9% of everything we talked about. Literally everything.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were like goofy for the most part, like just goofing around a lot. And I think we were just comfortable talking to each other. We had similar sense of humor. I think that was like a big thing. I mean, to this day, I mean, not anymore because they act like I don't exist in public, but, for years after too, like if I ever saw them in public, like me and Barnett would always just be like goofing around, So yeah, I mean, I think that there was a lot. Also, I think there's a lot that they showed about Barnett and Amber that they could have shown that would have made it make a little more sense too. I think all the pods in general, I think there should be more pod stuff, I think, because not just because I was in the pods, but just because like even Lauren and Cameron have said this, like you kind of miss the why. Mm-hmm. You kind of breeze over the pods. And you kind of miss why these people got together in the first place. So yeah, I don't know. I think that, I honestly, I can't even point to one thing specifically because there was really just our entire conversation, like none of them.
And also especially this last season with there only being 3 engagements and then 2 weddings, like why
5 engagements and 5 weddings.
Oh yeah, that's right. But, sorry, the ones that didn't. Which is another thing from your season. Like again, does it cost that much to throw an extra camera crew or 2? I think
it's less about camera crew and more about like you only have a certain amount of episodes that you're allowed to have.
Sure, but you don't know how it's going to play out with the other couples.
They are already like from what I was told, like before we even started filming our season of Love is Blind, there's 10 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And there was 10 episodes. So they're fitting 5 stories, even in 10 episodes, is in 10 1-hour episodes. Maybe I think the last one was maybe a couple hours, but like, that's a lot to put in.
Oh, no, I get that. But okay,
Yeah.
like for example, now they were 5 seasons in, Lydia and Milton, Taylor and JP, and Izzy and Stacy.
Yeah.
And then the 2 that kept filming that we didn't see. But then now we're losing Taylor and JP. We could slot somebody else in there. Like, you don't know that they're going to break up before you get to Mexico. You don't know what's going to happen when everybody starts living together. I don't know. That's a big fan complaint, but
100%. I think they should have more episodes and have I think there should be 5 pod episodes, truly, because so much happens in there. And I'm at a certain point, I guess it's how interesting is it to watch people talk through a wall? But I think that they should actually, well, I don't know how they would do this, but I think it'd be cool if we could figure out a way for the audience to not see the face of the person they're talking to.
Oh boy. That would have to be a podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And let them in on that a little bit, because I think it's a more interesting experience when you don't really know. But for us as an audience, we can see all the things and we see both sides and we see how they're acting in the common areas and stuff. And so, I don't know.
All right. And then on to the next part of Repulsive Ads question. And I already know, do you still keep in touch with anybody from the show?
Yeah, I mean, Diamond, I definitely talk to a lot. I'll see Lauren out Lauren and Cameron sometimes every once in a while at events. Lauren's someone I think that me and her are very similar, but because of that, we're both just awkward people in general. And when we get together, it's fun, but then neither one of us initiate anything. So I'm I want to be able to hang out with her more, but I also get why we don't. But
all right.
Anytime I've been around her, I loved it. But yeah, I went to Jessica's shower and Kelly, I hung out with Kelly a bunch too. Damien, I'll talk to him. I haven't talked to him a lot recently, but I talked to him a good bit.
Oh yeah, you guys are on both shows together.
Giannina, I talked to her a good bit all the time too. And we have mutual friends before the show, so I didn't know her, but yeah.
Well, we say hi to all of them. Everybody, hello, and we love you and miss you. All right, Jordan, what do we got next? Juliana for president wants to know, how did you stay so gracious during the Amber after the altar fight? I'm still amazed you didn't throw hands, or she didn't throw hands. Sorry.
She isn't. I didn't throw hands.
I think Amber, but it's open ended. We're not sure. Either one. There was no physical fighting.
I feel she's saying, how did she stay so gracious in the Amber fight? I'm still I think she's also saying because I'm not the one she's talking to. I think she's I'm still amazed she didn't throw hands. I'm not a throwing hands type of person. And if Amber
were to, why I didn't think it was you. Yeah.
And also if Amber were to do that, production would just be shut down. I don't think she's like that. I think she's aggressive, passionate person. I don't mean aggressive in a bad way, by the way. I think Diamond is also an aggressive, passionate person, so them two going toe to toe, I'm not gonna go back and forth with someone like that. And Diamond, because I just can't, I just don't have that energy. It's not my energy. I just don't have that. Not saying it's good or bad. I surround myself, I think, with people who are like that, because I'm not like that. And I feel most of my friends are fire signs. I am an outspoken person, but I'm it was a situation where I know I was Amber's not listening. She's not here. She's already got her side of the story that she knows is true, quotation marks, that she didn't actually even experience. And she is trying to tell me that my experience that I actually did experience was different. And Diamond was also not there, but also I was talking to Diamond every day almost during that stuff happening. She was getting a play-by-play live, and she was just as turned upside down, surprised as me when we found out about Mark. So it was kind of Amber, shut up. I don't know. It was kind of just let's just stop. Just stop. She's not gonna change her mind. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. We are all wasting our breath here. And I just feel it's just not worth fighting with someone, or I don't want to fight with anyone. I love to have like, I will have a discussion. I will debate you. I will debate about the dumbest shit ever. But like, again, if you're not listening, I'm not, why am I talking?
Yeah. It's hard when somebody's that worked up to have any kind of productive conversation.
No.
All right, Jordan. Which was more fun to be on, Love is Blind or Perfect Match?
If I had experienced Perfect Match, I think that would have been more fun.
I think we already knew your answer to that question.
It was a little more lighthearted. Like Love is Blind was fun, but it was definitely like a more like serious, like a more like nerve-wracking, like, oh, we're like getting engaged at the end these to someone I've never seen. This is fucking weird. Like it sounds when you explained it when you're like, you know, talking to production before, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that seems cool, like a cool concept. But then, and like, yeah, I could do that. But then when you actually get there, you're like, oh fuck, like I really don't know what these guys look like, huh? Really? Nothing. Like, okay. And so it was a little more nerve wracking, and also like because of that, I was like a little more serious and like I don't know, it was just kind of like I don't know, it was just like a little. It was fun in a different way. Perfect Match. I mean, yeah, it was pretty much just like me and Diamond got to hang out at the hotel for most of the time. So it was pretty fun.
All right. Our next set of questions comes from Instagram. This one's from Jessica Nicole Munoz. How do you stay so grounded in this wild world in which everyone is a super fabulous influencer? I almost got through that one.
Well, and this might be something that is maybe one of those things where I do wish I was a little more delusional, and I wish I did have a little more of the audacity in general, just in general about anything. I just think that that's why. Like, I think that anytime I was like this when I did theater too. Like anytime anyone would be like, "Oh my God, you did so good in a show," I would be like, "Thank you." In the back of my head, I'd be like, "They're lying. They have to say that." Okay. So like whenever people like, you know, say nice things to me, I think that's why, like, I don't really let the bad things or the good things get to my head. I do think that's like big advice that I always say to people if they ask that about reality shows. But I think that's kind of how I end up staying like quote unquote grounded in a wild world where everyone's a super fabulous influencer because I don't consider myself to be part of it.
Okay. That's
so
fair enough.
Whether you think I am or not is cool and weird to me, but I just don't think I'm part of it.
You do have fans, and I think that is part of like what makes people influencers besides like the sponsorships and all that. Like you are 5 years later, people still remember you and want to hear from you. That is to me an influencer.
Very cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm a influential person in general outside even of Instagram and stuff, but like I just think that I don't know. I think that I just don't let I always will say, don't let the good comments or don't believe anything that anyone says, good or bad, because you're never as good as people think you are or say you are, and you're never as bad as people think or say you are. So like none of it's true anyway. Like
everything is made up.
It's literally you're all liars. No, but I'm saying like because they don't know you really, and like the people, the things I think they're like the nicest things is when people who actually know me in real life are like, you know, they'll see me say something on a show and be like, that was so you. And I'm like, yeah. But like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I do it, I guess. Cause I don't really like think that
you don't put on a show either. Like you can tell speaking to you from the last couple interviews when we chat online, you are very genuine. You're very open.
I'm not thinking before I speak really, you know,
you're not setting up like I have to act like that. I have to fit into this mold. For reality,
I don't know how to even fit into any mold unless that's I think why I liked theater, because like I could fit in myself into a mold and try on different hats of different personalities and stuff, but be under the guise of like, oh, I'm acting, I'm playing a different character, I'm in a different outfit than I would normally wear, I have different of a wig maybe, or like different makeup than I normally would. But whenever I find it really difficult, even though I do have acting background, I don't think I thought I would be like that, you know, more like, oh, I'll go in there and be hilarious and put on a show. But what I found is that like, oh, this isn't acting. People are going to think this is me for real. And so I want to be me for real. I don't want to be like a a version of myself that is a character, you know?
Sure.
They're going to turn that into a character. I will become a character by proxy, you know, but like, I don't even know what I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I just want to be my normal self, I guess.
Yeah. And that,
which is why I don't regret anything even the bad things I've said or done on TV, the minimal things I've said or done, they've shown. I'm like, yeah, that was a pretty shitty thing for me to say at that time. I get it.
But nobody's perfect. Everybody is black and white shades of gray.
If you're down drunk trying to console your friend, then you probably say mean things too about somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, please. Yeah. It's like when somebody breaks up with somebody and then gets back together with them. And like when they're not together, you're like, oh, he was this and that, the other thing. And then they're back together. You're like, oh, well, it wasn't that bad. I
stand my ground on that. I'm like, yeah, I'll never like him again. I've said too much. I can't ever like him again. Now he has to convince me.
Okay. Now, Sachin K18 very kindly wants to know how your mental health is. How are you feeling?
It's fine. I'm fine.
Everything is fine. The fire surrounding you meme.
Yeah, literally that is that.
That's okay. That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
Now, that is it for the fan questions. I don't know if you have time to play these games. I would love to if you do. They're pretty quick.
I have about like 10 more minutes. 15
we can do that. We will knock them out in 10 minutes or less. I guarantee you that.
Sorry, I just will talk and I don't.
We love it. And we'll make this a 2-part episode. That way, if anybody feels the need to take a break and come back, we can do that. We're probably not going to do that on YouTube because like Jordan and I say, we don't know how to edit video and we don't care to.
That's fair.
Come back and listen.
Like you can just pause and.
Yeah, right? People don't tend to do that on the podcast. I don't know why. But I do too. But like just looking at our number.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Irrelevant. All right. Smash or pass. We're going to start with a couple of non-reality TV stars to get warmed up. And then we are going to go on to the reality TV edition. So the first smash or pass, Travis Kelce.
Smash. By the way, I had no idea who he was.
Until Taylor Swift.
100. Like I never heard his name. And people think that, oh, you've heard his name. No, I never heard his name. I've heard of Peyton Manning. I've heard of, I don't know, that Jesus guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just never, Travis, I'm not
That's okay.
Girl. And Travis.
You're Taylor Swift girl. That's fine.
Never made it my radar until that. And now I was like, who's this football guy? But I think they're great. And if they don't get married, I will be really upset. Actually, I've never been invested in a relationship like this. Ever.
Okay. Even your own, you're like, no.
Literally, I've never felt so confident that something was going to work out in general, including my
All right. Jake Johnson from New Girl.
Smash. 100%. Smash.
Okay, smash. I thought so, but I couldn't. You cut
anyone
out
in New Girl, smash.
Nigel from Too Hot to Handle.
I don't know personalities because I didn't watch. I don't think I've seen him. Based off looks alone, smash.
Nice. I would say for both. Yes, smash.
Really?
From my memory. Now, maybe it's been a long time since I watched the season, but yes, I think so. I think he was a really nice guy.
What season was he on? What season
he
was
he? On season 2, I believe.
Oh, well, then I watched it.
I'll tell you in a second.
I think I watched.
We keep going
through season 3. Oh, well, doesn't matter.
Joey from The Bachelor. Season 4. Okay.
Okay, I don't think I watched season 4.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong.
I remember that. Anyway. Those cute little dimples. Speaking of cute little dimples, there's Joey. Cute.
The new Bachelor.
I think that we're maybe about the same height, but I've dated other guys for some that you know about and some you don't know about that were about my same height as well.
Guys we would know.
Well, yeah, Mark is, he says 5'9", but he's not 5'9". And then a guy I dated in college for like almost 4 years. He was like about 5'9". So Joey, I think he's like sweet enough and cute enough and fun enough. And he's definitely gorgeous. So smash, 100%.
All right. Dario from The Challenge and Are You the One? Or I think it's Dario. I always mess up.
Again, no personality. I don't know. I haven't seen him on. I don't watch Are You the One or The Challenge, but pass.
Okay. Yeah, personality, I would say no. Max from Dancing with the Stars.
Again, don't know him really, but
okay.
Does he have an
accent?
Another
personality. God, I don't know if I've ever really heard him. I don't think so.
If he's tall and has an accent, I'll probably smash.
He is tall.
Then probably smash him.
Okay. TJ Lavin, the host of The Challenge.
Pass.
Okay. Jake Cunningham from The Ultimatum.
Oh.
I would say personality, good.
Okay, yeah. I did watch that. Smash.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really cute.
Jason Oppenheim from Selling Sunset. Uh-oh.
I thought that was Izzy.
I could see, yeah, the balls, the
pass. He is below my height. I do know that. So I am no Chriselle. I am not a saint.
I did not pull anybody from Love is Blind because I didn't want to put you on the spot like that. Except, okay, I lied. Okay, there's one because I want to make this happen. The last one. Chris from Love is Blind.
No, he did Johnny pretty dirty from what it sounds like. But then
he did.
He opened up. He did admit to. Here's the thing: we all fuck up. We all do dumb shit. But it's how you deal with doing the dumb shit. And if you own up and you're like, yeah, that was stupid, that I did that, I was mean and it was hurtful and I should have done it. I regret how I did that. Which is seemingly what he did. So again, I think he's maybe a little short for me, but
he might be on the shorter side.
Yeah.
But I will say I talked to him for like 2 hours last week and he's very sweet and seems like a genuine apology, genuinely, you know.
Yeah. No, I think he's really cute. I would say smash.
Okay, that's the last one to put you on the spot. I completely forgot I did that. And then as I'm like, no, there's nobody from Love is Blind. That's the next one. All right, we'll do like 3 never have I evers.
Mm-hmm.
Never have I ever created a Finsta account to follow an ex or to lurk.
I have never. But I do still have my podcast Instagram, even though we haven't had the podcast in like a couple years. It is attached to my account. So I can, if I do need to do some sleuthing, I don't interact with anything though. But if I do need to just like see some things, I'm not looking at stories. But if I do ever feel the need, I can do that or let friends do it from there or whatever. But yeah, I have creeped on people on that in the past. But
have you ever Googled yourself?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Even before I was ever on reality TV, I did that.
Were you ever surprised at the results?
No, not really.
Have you ever borrowed anything from set? Borrowed permanently.
Like stolen it. I don't. No. I was given some, like a couple things, but that was it. I was allowed to take them, but.
What'd you take? What'd they give you?
Well, like for like Perfect Match, we got to keep our water bottles, you know, or like Love is Blind. We had these like little makeup bags because we kept all wanting to like touch up our makeup when we were there. But so we would like leave and go outside to like go to the bathroom to like fix our makeup.
Oh yeah. They're like, no.
They're like, well, we were like, well, we can't bring our whole like makeup thing. They're like, just bring a few like touch up things. And like, they put it in a little pouch, put our names on it. So I have that.
All right. And then the last one before we let you go. Have you ever dated somebody from reality TV from a show besides Love is Blind or Perfect Match? Never have I ever, I mean.
I have never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren, tell us briefly, promote your podcast in case it's resurrected. If you need help doing that, we might be able to. I know a guy or a gal.
Listen, if you can find a production company to do like the back end stuff of it, it was hard. But yeah, I had a podcast called Permission to Enter. It was really fun with one of my friends, Tiffany. But yeah, other than that, I mean, just follow me on Instagram.
Yeah. Where can we follow you on social?
123 Lauren C on TikTok or Instagram. I don't really post many TikToks, but every once in a while I do. But
they're golden, the ones that you post. I mean, we saw some of them here.
Yeah, there's something.
All right, guys. Lauren, thank you so much for being here, Elsie. We really appreciate it. We love having you on. Come back anytime. We will share if you get the podcast going again. If we're able to create a network,
yes,
we'll get it going. guys, you know what to do. If you're listening and you haven't hit subscribe, like, follow, comment, review, please.
Do
You know
it.
the drill. We love you, and we will see you next time